So excited to dive in a little bit more into the world of somatic release, body release, why our body does different movements, different sensations. And when we think about energetic releases, such as tools through like EFT tapping, where we're tapping along this meridian line and literally starting to open up these very powerful energetic challenges, how we might experience some somatic or this body response in a way of literally letting it go from our body. So, some of the things that I always discuss with my clients when I'm working with them is to just tap into awareness. So, awareness of when our body is starting to have some of these somatic release or body release or purging, body purging of energy experiences. So, some of the ones that I frequent to notice in my body and then educate my clients on is yawning. Yawning is a very, very clear sign of the nervous system not only moving into a calmer parasympathetic nervous system state, but that rest and digest of our body being able to feel in a calmer state to allow a yawn to come through. When I am leading or going through my own practice of EFT tapping, yawning is such a very clear and apparent uh, output of my body. And it's really kind of like fun to notice, like, there it is again. Like, gosh, good job, body. You're letting go of some extra emotion. And I remember that when I first started with EFT tapping, probably about 8 years ago now, where I got really, really enthralled with what is this magical tool where I can talk about the sensations that I'm feeling within and literally have them start to leave my body in such a powerful way. Another maybe more intense somatic experience might be through tears. And it might start with that yawn of, oh, this big, huge yawn, releasing, oh, so much lovely input to our vagal nerve. But it also might lead to, with a huge yawn, a few tears releasing from your eyes and just deep acceptance of this and deep acknowledgement of thank you, body, for releasing this energy that no longer serves me and can be released and set free. And some other things that we might also see and experience is like big laughter. So big moments where we have like big haws, those, or that like even or almost like uncontrollable laughter sometimes can come out where I just take a step back after like a big, huge giggle session where I'm just laughing and laughing and laughing and laughing. And I'm like, oh, maybe I'm getting a little dysregulated in that moment of like, oh gosh, I'm trying to control this laughter. But if it allows, and that is also sometimes an unpopular opinion of allowing the flow of laughter and just letting it be. And joy is so powerful, and smiling is so powerful. Even like a fake smile, like if we stood like this with a fake smile, our body doesn't know the difference between a fake smile and a real smile. I remember actually a lovely opportunity of going to a meetup in Arizona, and it was called Laughter Yoga. And it was just like the laughing club, and people would tell jokes, and some of them were really corny. And then we would just have moments where people would share silly stories and we're all like laughing. And then there were times where we practiced just literally forcing ourselves to laugh, and how the turned into literal, like, oh, my body doesn't understand that this is fake. Here is the real stuff coming out. And just noticing that shift of endorphin release, usually like this big smile because it's so ridiculous of like faking it. It really does trick our body into like, yeah, here it is. This smile in itself can be such a powerful way of just energetic release. So laughter can be a very, very powerful energy release, and those are some tools that you could even use that I still to this day recruit. Um, One other story about the laughter club is the moment where we all sat down at the end and all we did was smile. And I've done that in a mindfulness training as well, where we just practiced smiling, making eye contact, looking around the room, sharing a smile with each person in the room, and just how much powerful connection to ourselves, noticing even that sensation of like, oh my gosh, my jaw almost even hurts because of how joyous I feel. And I always laughed those moments, even though they felt like silly and goofy and like sometimes uncomfortable because my overanalysis brain was kicking in of like, what are we even doing? Like, this is so ridiculous. Yeah, the perception of others and others' opinions. But when I really think back to those moments, I they just bring joy. They do. They bring so much joy to think about sharing this, silly, wild, and super, super fun opportunity for optimism in community and sharing this joy, sharing these endorphins with others, even complete strangers. So I know I frequently smile and utilize smiling. Even if I'm feeling down, I really try my hardest to even trick my brain. Here I am. I'm putting a smile forward. And not to say that the emotions in the full spectrum of emotions are not worthy. All emotions are worthy. I just recognize that sometimes these very powerful tools of initiating a way of releasing more heavier emotions from my body, that smiling can be a very powerful tool to help with that. Some other ways of kind of somatic release, we might notice our body just kind of moving. We might notice a need to stretch. We might notice a need to like crack our knuckles. We might notice like a tapping sensation of our foot. It might be this motor output, meaning our body's just fidgety and we need to get some input and some extra movement to fill our movement cup. But it also could be a way that our body is just energetically releasing some more intense feelings. Some others are burping. It might be that you're digesting, there's this whole process of digestion, but burping can also be another sign of our body releasing this energy. So, some things that we've reviewed is how we process through and how we can utilize some really powerful tools like EFT tapping to have these somatic release experiences for the intensities that we're feeling, those moments of discomfort in our body. We can actively strive forward to help release this energy from our body. So, it might be through yawning. Yawning might lead to a release of some tears. It might be a full blown cry sesh that your body needs to just energetically let go, release, release, release. It might be through laughter. It might be through somatic movement. It might be through burping. Any of these are all natural ways and natural experiences that are very, very common when I work with my clients and hear how, either deep breathing or working on somatic movement, working on vagal toning experiences, working on EFT tapping scripts to really talk through the release of those emotions, how these very individualized and maybe identifying some different patterns of these ways where we can release excess energy or more intense energy from our body.